Are you thinking about moving to the Austin area but don't want to live right in the city? In today's video, I'm going to take you on a Google Maps tour of 6 of the most popular towns and suburbs near Austin, Texas. We'll talk pros and cons, local vibes, commute times, schools, pricing trends, and just about everything you need to make a smart move. Let's zoom in and get started. All right, first up is Round Rock, Texas, which is probably one of the best known Austin suburbs, and for good reason. It's located just about 20 to 30 minutes north of downtown Austin and has exploded in popularity thanks to major employers like Dell and its highly rated schools. So here we are on a map, and Round Rock, as you see, is just north of Austin. Major connecting road into Austin is I-35, but you can't take Mopac, or if you like the toll roads, you can take 130 around to 290 or 45 to 183. There's a couple different options for getting into Austin from Round Rock. So Round Rock, as you see, it doesn't have a very uniform shape. It kind of flows in and out of these different areas up here in the northern Austin suburbs. Some pretty popular spots. I'd kick things off with downtown Round Rock. This is kind of the old main city center, if you will, and this is where you can find a lot of things to do and also where a lot of events in Round Rock do go on too. One business to highlight that is probably very well known is Round Rock Donuts. They have fantastic donuts, definitely recommend testing them out, and huge donuts too. And then this whole Main Street area here, you've got lots of fun restaurants and bars. Like I said before, they do a lot of events in this area too. So this is where you'll find yourself coming to spend a lot of time and enjoy yourself in the area. Outside of that main downtown area, there is also Old Settlers Park. So this area has really exploded in popularity too because there's tons of things to do right here. So first off, you've got the Dell Diamond, which is the home of Round Rock's minor league baseball team, the Round Rock Express. And then right across the street from it, you do have the Kalahari Resort, which is an indoor water park. It's also a convention center, giant hotel, really a fun place to hang out, a fun place also to bring the family to. And then you've got parks, baseball fields, a small lake, some really great things within this area. And there's quite a few communities around it that have been built up to enjoy within it too. So some pros of Round Rock, you do have a lot of well-established neighborhoods with some newer developments in here, as well as some older homes. So this is a pretty good mix. You've also got pretty highly rated schools compared to the rest of the area. You've also got a lot of shopping and dining and entertainment options. And it's really well suited towards families, but anybody definitely can enjoy it. You've also got some golf in the area too. It is generally more affordable than Central Austin and the Austin city limits, at least for now. Like I said, it has grown in popularity. And then the downtown section, like we spoke about before, it does have a lot of character and the community comes together to really enjoy the town here in this area. And then you are close to major employers like Dell. Just show you that there. So just right on the intersection of 45 and I-35, you'll have the main Dell campus in here. There's also a lot of shopping and dining in this area too. So you can see just how close in proximity it is to the rest of Round Rock. Now some cons, I-35 traffic can be rough, really, really rough. And especially right now too, because Austin is currently undergoing I-35 construction, and it really kind of goes up all through this area and it tends to back up and during rush hours too. It's also growing very, very fast. Round Rock is popular and the prices and everything are going up. So it's just expect more congestion and rising prices with this too. But overall, Round Rock is a fantastic place to live if you like being close to Austin, but just want to be right outside, but also still within a community that has its own character. All right, next up is Pflugerville, which is just southeast of Round Rock and a little bit closer to Austin, and is known for having a bit more affordable home offerings as well as a wide range of home offerings. So let's take a look at it here. So this is Pflugerville from the top down. As you see, it is pretty close to downtown Austin and all things Austin. The Austin city limits roughly ends right here at Wells Branch Parkway. So you are pretty close to everything, but also Manor over here, it does kind of encompass this area too. So you are butted up against Manor, Austin, and then also Hutto up here. And then you've got Taylor even more to the northeast, which is the site of the new Samsung plant up this direction. So Pflugerville, a spot I want to really point out to you is the Lake Pflugerville Park, which not a lot of people know that there's actually a Lake Pflugerville, but it's a fun spot to come and walk around, take the dogs, kids, what have you. Fishing is pretty popular here as well. Just one thing to note is that during the really hot weather, it's not quite as fun because there's not a lot of shade around here, but a fun spot to hang out. You've also got some other natural areas throughout Pflugerville. So great things to check out. And like I mentioned before, Pflugerville is known for having both old and new developments and is really still within the process of developing too. So it's not uncommon to drive through Pflugerville and come across cornfields, and then you've got new homes and new apartments going up and then more cornfields or some ranches. So it's kind of an interesting spot. Another area I want to point out is this intersection of 130 and 45. You do have a lot of development in this area, a lot of shopping and dining. You've got a Costco right over here. There's a lot of shops, Home Depot, as well as some others right along this section. And then you also have the Typhoon, Texas Water Park, which is great when it's hot around here, much like it's getting right now. And then right across, you've got the whole Black Hawk area, which is one of the largest and original master plan communities within Pflugerville. And so you've got a lot of different homes up here. There's a golf course, tend to have a little bit more of your luxury offerings within Pflugerville here. Distance to downtown Austin, it's about a 20-25 minute drive depending on traffic. You do get quite a bit of traffic in this area because there is some I-35 construction going on. And then especially as you get into Austin, you'll have more, and probably for the next decade or so as they do work to expand the road. But you do have other options. You can take 130 to the different roads that cut into Austin. Also 130 is a great option if you do need to get to the airport down in the southeast of Austin. And then you do have the Austin Executive Airport in this area too, if you did need a smaller airport to fly in and out of. So some pros about Pflugerville. Like I mentioned before, you do have both older and newer developments. So you have a kind of a wide array of home offerings. You do have easy access to the toll roads. So you've got 45 and 130. If you do like tolls, I'll save you my spiel. I'm not a big fan of them, but you do have those options. And then also you've got Lake Pflugerville, as well as some different other natural areas throughout the town. And then you are close to the natural areas in Round Rock and all of these great natural areas in the northern part of Austin. And then it is a very diverse community with some fantastic food offerings. So a lot of great spots to check out. Some cons, you are still in a developing area. And so like I mentioned before, you can drive through some spots that really don't have a lot to offer. And then you do have to drive in for maybe a grocery store or shopping and dining, depending on which part of Pflugerville you do live in. And then also the school ratings can vary by school. So definitely encourage you to do your research and making sure that you are picking a good spot that serves you and your family well. But overall, Pflugerville is a solid choice if you want to be close to Austin, just outside of it, and then maybe you're looking for a little bit more affordable homes as well. Leander is just northwest of Austin and has been one of the fastest growing cities in Texas and the US for the past couple of years. It is, despite being further away from downtown Austin, it is connected by the Metro Rail, which runs directly to downtown Austin, which can be a huge plus for some commuters. So as you see, if we zoom out here, you've got Round Rock, which we went over before, right a little bit southeast of it, and you've got Cedar Park in between it and Austin. So you're looking at about a 45-minute drive to downtown Austin, depending on traffic. You've got some different roads compared to some of the other places we've looked at today so far. It's mostly 183 will be your main access point in and out. And you do have the non-toll road and then the toll road too, which is really great if you did need to go north and bypass downtown Leander in general. And it does back up kind of in this area right in here. You do have quite a bit of construction along 183. They've been working on it for some time, so hopefully it finishes soon. And then as you do take it into the intersection with Mopac, you've got a lot of different things in here, including the Domain, Arboretum, that can back up some traffic sometimes. But Leander, it is further away from Austin, much like you see, but your money does go a little bit further up here, and you've also got a really big range of different home offerings. As you get to the southwest and closer up to Lake Travis, and as it borders up to Jonestown, you get some really nice luxury homes, some fantastic views of the hill country and everything. Treviso is a really popular master plan community in this area. Really gorgeous homes that look out all towards this direction. And then as you go through, the downtown part of Leander too, you can find a little bit more affordable homes in this section. And then also as you go out towards more of that Georgetown area, a lot of developments and newer developments right along Highway 29 and in this area in here. It does kind of all border up against Liberty Hill, Georgetown, and Leander. So even some neighborhoods, especially in this area, will have half the neighborhood go to Georgetown ISD schools, and the other half go to Leander ISD schools. So that's Leander from a top-down view, and you do have a lot of stores and construction and everything that is popping up to serve this community. It grew really, really quickly, especially during the pandemic. There was a flood of people coming into this area, and all of the shops and developments are a little bit behind it, but they're still going through and have been building and opening up over these past couple of years. So pros, you get a lot of new construction homes in this area. You can find pretty much every price point and size that you're looking for. So a lot of great options within Leander. You do have pretty highly rated schools compared to the rest of the area too. So definitely a huge plus. Leander, Liberty Hill, and a lot of these schools up in this area, they tend to be some high school football powerhouses as well as high school soccer. So something to keep in mind. You do have a lower price per square foot generally than Austin, and sometimes even Round Rock too. But there are some areas, like I mentioned before, Treviso, and in this section where you can get some pretty pricey homes. But also, it's not overly priced. I mean, you're getting what you pay for. You get some really luxury product. And then you do get a more suburban, rural feel in here in Leander, but it is different than maybe Round Rock or Pflugerville, because you get a variety in the landscape. You get a little bit more hill country influence, and so you get some nice views, some really pretty sunsets too. So some cons, definitely the commute time. If you are commuting into Austin, you are going to be driving for some time. It can be rough, and so something to keep in mind, but it also makes this community great if maybe you're a remote worker or only have to go in a couple days a week. Some areas are still underdeveloped and lack some amenities, so that's something to keep in mind too. And then the roads are just generally struggling to keep up with the population boom that did happen over the past couple of years. As a lot of us Texans know, the road construction takes quite some time to catch up with the demand, and Leander can get really congested, especially during the morning times, afternoon times, when schools are, opening up, letting out, and same thing with work too. But overall, Leander is a great spot if you want to get outside of the city, have just more space to kind of breathe, and also have your money go pretty far too, and enjoy the beautiful landscape in Leander. Liberty Hill, it's even further out from Austin than Leander, but has become a hot spot for those looking for bigger lots and more of a small town feel. Liberty Hill, definitely, especially as you go through right down the Main Street section, it does feel like a small town, much like you drive through other parts of Texas, but you still get the hill country influence in this kind of western part of the Austin area. Liberty Hill is not big, as you see, but it does have some really different and diverse home offerings within here. Like I said, it has become kind of popular for those that want to have more room to spread out in, and so there's quite a few communities in this area that offer just larger lots. There's what we call acreage home sites, and communities that offer a minimum of 1 acre home sites, which is kind of unique. You don't see that anywhere else within the area. And then it does kind of extend along Highway 29 and runs into Leander as well as Georgetown, as all three of these suburbs and towns are kind of developing to meet each other here. And you do get a lot of communities within this section. You got Santa Rita Ranch right in here. And then you've also got Rancho Santa Fe. And there's also communities that run up within this section. Give you a lot of new home options. And then there also is the Metro Rail that is close by. So if you are commuting into downtown Austin, you do have that option if you just don't want to make this drive, because that's one of the biggest downsides of Liberty Hill, and something to consider is just the commute into Austin if you're making it. So it can be, 45 minutes without traffic. You easily get over an hour and a half, depending on what traffic looks like and when you're commuting. And so typically, if you are working in Austin here, it's it's well suited for people who are maybe more remote or just going in a couple days of the week, so you don't have to make that every single day. Some different pros of Liberty Hill, other than its location in, relation to some of the beautiful landscapes out here. You do have Lake Georgetown that's pretty close by, which we'll go over in a little bit. And then you are close to Lake Travis and also all of the Highland Lake system that runs up in this direction. And just a lot of beautiful scenery, hiking trails, wildlife, everything up here. It's just less developed compared to as you get closer into Austin. And so you get to enjoy that less developed feel of the area. Some pros, you do get the spacious homes on larger lots, like I mentioned before. It is just generally a little bit more quiet and rural feeling, and you get the hill country experience. Like you get a little bit in Leander, but definitely more so in Liberty Hill. Liberty Hill ISD has been growing in popularity, and you do have some pretty highly rated schools within this school district. And then you also just get more value for your money too. So just generally, as you move outside of Austin, your money does go further. And as you can expect, Liberty Hill, this being a little bit further out, your money can go far here too, at least for now. Some cons, it is far from Austin. And if you're making that commute, it can be rough. So just something to keep in mind. You do have fewer shopping and dining options, at least for now. They are in the process of building a Costco within this area. And so that'll be coming up. It's set to finish late 2025, but we'll see and see when that actually does finish. But shows you the different shopping and dining that is coming in and keeping their eyes on this developing area. And you also have limited public transportation options. As you kind of expect, it is a smaller town. But overall, Liberty Hill is a great option if you do want even more space to spread out in, and you want maybe a larger home, a little more quieter experience. All right, next up is Georgetown, which is about 30 to 40 minutes north of Austin, and it blends historic character with fast-paced growth. It's known for its beautiful town square, the San Gabriel River, and overall has a more active lifestyle. So, coming in, here is Georgetown from the top-down view. As you see, it is large, especially compared to some of the other suburbs and towns that we've taken a look at so far. And you do have a lot of different offerings within this too. So the downtown section of Georgetown and the whole square area is beautiful. It's one of the most walkable and enjoyable historic downtowns in Texas. So something to really check out. You do have a university within Georgetown too, Southwestern University, which I always got a kick out of the name because this is actually north of Austin, but it's a Southwestern University. I don't know. And then you do have the San Gabriel River that runs through all of Georgetown. As you see, it starts off way outside and runs right down through the middle section and goes all the way out and continues to run to the west. And then you do have a lot of development within this area too. So you do have the historic section, some really nice historic homes, and then you have new developments too. Some popular ones. You've got the whole Wolf Ranch development, which started out just kind of in here, but it has now grown to encompass all of this area. Now they're building over here as well. And then you've also got a Costco that is up here too, a Georgetown Executive Airport, a lot of shopping and dining, a lot of really diverse dining options too. And so that's why Georgetown has become so popular, because it has kind of everything that you need while still being close to Austin too. Another thing I'd like to point out is Lake Georgetown, which is a beautiful natural area, a reservoir to hike around. And the trail, if you do take it all the way around, it starts right in here. It ends up being almost exactly the length of a marathon. So if you're training or wanted to do some, a little more intense trail running, this is a fantastic option to enjoy some of the scenery in. And then another thing in Georgetown that it has that's kind of unique is you do have a 55 plus community within the Sun City area. And so makes this an area maybe for, fresh retirees and something to check out. And with that too, you do have quite a few golf clubs within the area too. So there's lots of great ways to enjoy Georgetown. And that's why it's become one of the more popular suburbs within this area. Distance to downtown, like I mentioned, it is about 30 to 40 minutes. So as you see, it is north. So you'll drive through Pflugerville, through Round Rock, and then you hit Georgetown all along 35. 35 tends to be the most popular road in and out of Georgetown. But then you do have Highway 29 that runs east to west. And then if you do want to take the toll option, you do have 130 that is an option too, which is a really great one if you do need to get down to the Austin airport. Some pros about Georgetown. So like I mentioned before, you do have one of the most walkable historic downtown city centers within Georgetown here. So definitely worth checking out. There's a lot of festivals and different community events that do happen within Georgetown too. So you do have that sense of community that loves to come together. You do have a variety of home options from historic homes, 55 plus communities like I mentioned, as well as a lot of different new construction offerings. And then you do have a lot of parks, trails, and different ways to enjoy the outdoors here. So Georgetown tends to offer a bit more active lifestyle amenities across the board. Cons, your commute to Austin can be longer, especially if you're comparing it to, maybe Round Rock or Pflugerville. But, when comparing to Liberty Hill, it is a little bit closer. Just like I mentioned before, I-35 can back up starting about in this area. And so just kind of expect traffic to be a little bit bad coming and going, especially if you're commuting during the busy commute times. Also, like Leander, the road construction really hasn't kept up with the demand up here, especially along Highway 29 and the Southwest Bypass. This is a very popular route in and out of town because of all the communities that have been built up along this road. And it is, it can back up during the heavy traffic times or when people are, commuting to school or work. There are some neighborhoods that have very, very high tax rates. And that's not just due to the property taxes, but also some MUDs and PIDs that are, part of your community and property tax fees. And then also, your last con is that the rapid growth can kind of take away a little bit from that small town feel of Georgetown. So depending on which section you're in, you may miss out a little bit on that historic feel that Georgetown does offer. But overall, Georgetown's a fantastic suburb and community to consider just outside of Austin. Really great if you want to explore some new construction homes. Or if you want maybe some more unique historic homes compared to some of the other parts of Austin. Last but not least is Dripping Springs, which is located just southwest of Austin and is known as the gateway to the Hill Country. Overall, it offers a lot for families, outdoor lovers, and even those that maybe want a touch of luxury. You can find some really gorgeous homes here. So I know you got tired of me going over all the northern suburbs, so I figured we'll take a look at one of the more southern suburbs within Austin. So Dripping Springs, it's about 45 minutes outside of Austin along Highway 290, and that is the main road in and out. And at least until you get into this section of Austin, where you can take some cutaways to 71 and take that to 360 if you did need to get a little more north within Austin here. Overall, I'm a big fan of Dripping Springs. I'm a little bit biased because I grew up in the Hill Country, and Dripping Springs, like I said, is the gateway to that. And so you get a little bit more of that Hill Country experience. And Dripping Springs still has some of that small town feel too, despite how quickly it has been developing. This main section, as you do drive through it, you do have some really fun parks and coffee shops and restaurants and kind of the spots that have been around for some time that have that character that Dripping Springs was kind of known for. But then you do have a lot of new developments that have kind of been going up too. There's some developments within this section, as well as you get outside of Austin and get into Dripping Springs, you have some home developments out here too. And then especially as you get into, these areas where you get a little bit more land and a little bit more green space, you can find some really, really gorgeous homes. And some of them can be pretty pricey too, depending on how much acreage that you're getting. Dripping Springs, proximity to Austin, like I said, about 45 minutes. And then you are just outside of Driftwood, which does have the Salt Lake Barbecue, very popular one within the area. And then you can get to kind of the more southern, towns outside of Austin, like Buda, Kyle, San Marcos, pretty easily. We've also got Wimberley as well. So some really great historic towns, some fun spots to hang out in. And then also, a big thing out here is tubing, pretty popular in the New Braunfels area too in the summertime, because that's what us Texans do. We get on the water when it's hot. Some pros of Dripping Springs, like I mentioned, you do have the beautiful hill country views out here and a little bit more open space. You are also in the highly rated Dripping Springs ISD school district here. And then you do have a lot of popular wedding venues, breweries, distilleries, wineries. I mean, you can just see one here with Bell Springs, but especially as you continue to go out, you get more wineries and breweries. You have quite a few within this area too. So you have some really nice and fun options in that regard. And then it does feel like a getaway, just kind of in general, without being too far outside of Austin, because it is a pretty short drive in, but it is outside of Austin. It definitely doesn't feel like Austin, despite how close it is. Some cons, it can be expensive, depending on which home you're looking for. I mean, some of the new construction that has gone up is geared a little bit more towards, first-time home buyers or, starter homes, but some of the others can be pretty pricey. And then also your commute to downtown Austin can be long because traffic does back up on 290, since this is the only road in and out of Austin. And then there is quite a bit of construction right now too on this 290 and 71 intersection. And so it can back up pretty significantly, especially in the mornings or in the afternoons. And also too, if you're commuting into Austin from Dripping Springs, in the mornings, you are driving into the sunshine. And then in the afternoons, you are driving into the sunshine again. So just something to keep in mind that not a lot of people do think about. And then you do just kind of generally have a little bit more limited retail and dining options compared to, maybe Liberty Hill, or Leander, Georgetown area. It's not quite as developed in that regard, although you are getting more in this section in here. It's kind of building up as the day goes by, and that also contributing to some of the backup on 290. But it's coming along. It's just not quite as developed as maybe Georgetown or Leander. But overall, Dripping Springs offers a lot of natural beauty. You get that little bit more small town feel that's maybe, a little bit comparable to Liberty Hill. And then you are very close to the rest of the hill country too. So if you enjoy, wineries, breweries, distilleries, or just generally, you like going west to maybe Johnson City, Fredericksburg area, then Dripping Springs is a really great place. So these are 6 of the most popular suburbs around Austin, Texas. Round Rock, Pflugerville, Leander, Liberty Hill, Georgetown, and Dripping Springs. Each has a different vibe, price point, and lifestyle, and the best choice for you really depends on what matters most: commute, schools, space, or community feel. If you want some help figuring out which suburb is best for your lifestyle and budget, or if you're ready to start exploring homes, then feel free to reach out to me. I'd love to help, and you can find my information in the pinned comment below. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment if you have any questions about these areas, or if you'd like me to cover another area of Austin in a future video. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see y'all in the next video.